Survivors, seekers, and thrivers, welcome to Transcending Trauma, a spiritual odyssey. I'm Shari Leigh Roberts, living proof that transformation is real. Get ready for powerful insights, inspiring stories, and a little laughter along the way. Hello and welcome. Thank you for being here today. I'm Shari Leigh Roberts, and I'm thrilled to share why I've created this podcast, Transcending Trauma, the Spiritual Odyssey. If you notice something unique about my voice, it is AI generated. This technology has been transformational for me as someone with a vocal tremor that often makes it difficult to be understood. My tremor developed as a result of a lifetime of trauma. AI voice-altering technology allows me to host this podcast while ensuring you have an optimal listening experience. Pretty cool, eh? I want to express my deep gratitude to Altered Studio for making this possible. Their groundbreaking work deserves recognition. Altered Studio has not only developed industry-leading voice editing software for production professionals, but they've also embarked on an inspiring mission to help people like me, with vocal tremors, to communicate clearly through electronic devices. Here's the backstory. I reached out to the owner of Altered Studio last year, after trying their voice morphing software. It takes a voice and morphs it into a voice of your choosing. For instance, I recorded my voice and selected a voice from their library. Due to my vocal tremor, the software wasn't able to decipher and translate my voice. I had been so hopeful, then frustrated when their software didn't work. But to my surprise, when I shared this and my vision for a podcast with the owner of Altered Studios, he wanted to talk with me to find out more. That conversation began their mission of helping people with vocal dysphonia like mine to communicate on electronic devices. Today and for the first couple weeks of this podcast, I am using their text-to-speech software. I input text and the chosen voice speaks it. In later episodes, their innovative technology allows me to speak naturally and then transforms my voice while preserving its essence and personality. Truly amazing. As someone who spent much of their life and their career in corporate America battling dysphonia, I understand the helplessness of unpredictable vocal quality. 1 minute my voice could be clear, the next so tremor-ridden or restricted, I could not be understood. These constant fluctuations triggered deep insecurities and anxiety, especially during crucial moments like virtual meetings or in-person presentations. When the owner of Altered Studio heard my story, he recognized the genuine struggle thousands of us face and took immediate action. His company's new direction in AI voice-altering technology aims to help all who are impacted by vocal dysphonia like myself. The technology has been truly life-changing. For the first time, I can communicate confidently without fear of my voice suddenly failing. For anyone affected by voice disorders or seeking voice alteration solutions, I wholeheartedly recommend Altered Studio. Their work creates new possibilities for communication and self-expression that simply weren't available before. I'm genuinely curious about your experience with this AI voice. Does it enhance your listening experience? Or would you prefer to hear my natural voice at a faster pace, which helps make my speech more understandable? Your honest feedback will help shape future episodes and means the world to me as I navigate this journey. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I read every single one. I guess the moral of my story is simple. When you want something badly enough, you'll find a way. And sometimes, that means being open to letting others help you realize your dreams and reach your goals. Now, this isn't just another podcast. It's a mission from my heart and my journey of discovering how trauma impacts our mind, body, and spirit, but when released, can unlock our natural intuitive abilities and lead to the magic on the other side of trauma. It exists, and I am living proof. Allow me to share a bit of my story. At age 55, I stood by the golden throne to see the water swirl down. I desperately wanted to disappear into the abyss. I was broken and a shell of the person I once was. As I contemplated disappearing forever, a voice said, "Shari, you are meant to be and to do more. Get cracking." Not being one to argue with God, I commenced on a profound and sometimes crazy healing journey that I have to share. But to fully understand how I ended up in that dark place, I need to take you back to my day of birth, when my mother, holding me in her arms, looked down and said, "You are a mistake." She continued saying that throughout my childhood. A side note, my father was having an extramarital affair while my mother was pregnant with me, her fourth child. She was a stay-at-home mother, caring for 3 children, between the ages of 8 and 18 months. To say she was miserable and scared shitless is an understatement. Though I was too young to understand her words at that time, my psyche understood it, so I grew up believing that I was unlovable because I was a mistake. Then at age 5, my father, an iron worker at the time, came home drunk from work in the middle of the night and terrorized me, my siblings, and our mother, almost choking her to death. The years that followed were much the same. With each hit, kick, and egregious word, I became smaller, quieter, more insecure, fear-driven, and devalued myself. Carrying these beliefs into my teenage years and adulthood, it will come as no surprise that I dated men like my father, then at 22, married one, despite vowing never to do so. But familiarity is a strong force. My husband didn't curse like my father, wasn't physically abusive, and didn't have a drinking problem. But he was just as manipulative and emotionally harmful. 23 years later, I found the courage to divorce him and begin a self-exploration journey. The year that followed my divorce marked the beginning of my inner journey. While I did start looking inward during this time, I realize now that I merely scratched the surface. I didn't allow myself the necessary time nor the courage to dive deep enough within, to truly confront the accumulated trauma, internalized lies, and fundamental misconceptions that I held about myself, humanity, and God. This incomplete healing process left me vulnerable, and I continued to gravitate toward long-term relationships with men who, like my ex-husband, exhibited narcissistic traits. Each relationship followed a similar pattern, with the last one becoming so toxic and dangerous that it nearly cost me my life. In 2019, I left Tucson and the sick man behind and headed back to my home state of Michigan. As I continued to discover deeply entrenched trauma and release it, my intuitive abilities were rediscovered and developed. As a result, today, I help people discover all the trauma that resides within them, like secondary, conscious, subconscious, past life, and generational, and how it's manifesting before removing it. I absolutely love this work. It fills my happiness cup to the brim. As I said, everyone's healing journey is unique. In addition to being mentored by a psychic medium, working with a traditional therapist, undergoing biofeedback therapy, and practicing meditation, I was guided to write a memoir. When Spirit first told me I needed to share my story through a book, I was vehemently opposed. Who wants to tell the world about their mistakes, trauma, and struggles? Who wants to expose their vulnerabilities and poor choices? Certainly not me. It felt deeply embarrassing. But, doing what I was told, I began writing during the isolation of the pandemic in 2020 and completed it in 2022. Looking back, I can say it was one of the most intensive, frustrating, emotional, inspiring, and cathartic experiences of my life. The process of documenting my journey forced me to confront painful truths but also allowed me to witness my own resilience and growth. My memoir, From Broken to Enlightened, Living My Life Purpose, is releasing this summer. Can't wait. Many of my guests were similarly guided to document their stories, and you'll hear about their reasons for writing and the transformational outcomes during our conversations. There's something profoundly healing about putting your truth on paper. It releases the energy attached to those experiences and creates space for new possibilities. Now that I've been helping others heal through psychic medium readings and energy healing sessions, I've seen similarities between their experiences with narcissistic abuse and their healing journeys. Here are a few of the commonalities. We don't know we're victims of abuse until someone tells us and explains narcissistic behaviors. Every terrible thing that we were accused of doing or being is a direct projection of the narcissist's thoughts and behaviors. It can take years to heal from narcissistic abuse, but it doesn't have to. Using my intuitive abilities, I can expedite your healing journey. Some people who you are in your inner circle will leave when you are no longer who they need you to be. As victims, we often lack boundaries and are not accustomed to being in relationships with people who have them, especially the narcissists. Boundaries are necessary for a healthy mind, body, and spirit. There are many more commonalities that we'll discuss in my guest interviews as they share their stories. Now, I'd like to take a few moments to explain my intuitive abilities and how I do psychic medium readings and energy healing sessions. It's crucial to understanding what is said during my guest conversations, many of whom are or have been clients of mine. We are all born with intuitive abilities, but time, experiences, and outer influences often bury them so deeply that we're often unable to tap into them. Or we are utilizing them but not aware that we are. There are 5 intuitive abilities that correlate to our 5 senses: smell, hearing, taste, touch, and sight. The names for these in the spiritual world are clairalience, clairaudience, clairgustance, clairsentience, and clairvoyance. There's also channeling, which means that spirit is sending you messages and you're receiving them, but generally are unaware that you are. The result is knowing of things that you cannot explain. As a child, I was clairvoyant. This first came to the surface when my mother's mother passed away when I was 5. It was a real conundrum because I didn't understand what it meant when I was told my grandmother died. Then I saw her in a box and wondered why she wasn't waking up. That evening, when my mother walked me to my bedroom and was explaining Grandma was in heaven, I just stared at my dead grandmother who was standing next to my mother, wondering why my mother was talking about her like she wasn't there. I was also a channeler. Though the clairvoyance was buried deep because of all the trauma during my childhood, I have always received channeled messages. Like others who possess this ability, it was a frustration at times because I could never explain how I knew things. This left many doubts among a lot of people over the years. Then in 2019, my transformational healing journey began. Over the next 4 years, my former intuitive abilities and new ones were unveiled. Today, I see clairvoyance, hear clairaudience, and feel clairsentient spirit. There are also occasions where I smell clairalience and taste clairgustance spirit, and I receive channeled messages. For instance, when my grandfather comes through, I always taste his cherry-flavored pipe tobacco, and I smell my aunt's perfume. Unlike most psychic mediums who typically develop only 1 or 2 intuitive abilities, and often rely on interpreting symbols or tarot cards to convey spirit messages, I receive direct verbal communication. This means the messages I share with my clients are delivered exactly as I receive them, pure and unfiltered, without interpretation. This direct channel allows for clear and precise guidance that preserves the authentic intention of your spirit team and loved ones. Here is what you can expect from a psychic medium reading from me. As you go about your business, yes, that's right, your participation is not required. I tune into your energy and invite your spirit team in. They provide the information you need at the time to move forward in your journey, and many times, loved ones in spirit come through with messages of support and encouragement. All details of the reading are sent to the client in an email afterward. This is very different from the readings I received over the years, where there was no recording or notes, so the minute I walked out of the reading, I forget 90% of what was said. With the session documented, you can read it over and over. Some even go back and read it after 6 months, and are blown away by the impact of the reading, and how their lives have changed during that time. An energy healing session is also done without your participation. I tune into your energy, invite your spirit team, including your healers, visualizing you. The energy scan begins at the crown chakra, located just above your physical head. I'm able to see heavy energy spots, and your spirit team tells me the source and how they are manifesting, before I remove the energy. If the cause of the heavy energy is a past life experience, I go back to that experience and remove any cords to the event that have a negative impact on you. Once we have scanned your entire body, we focus on your aura, the energy around your physical body. The aura is rarely thought about, yet it is so important to our well-being. A clean aura allows us to be light, feel safe, and fabulous. After the session, a detailed email is sent. These sessions remove blocks holding you back, provide clarity, direction, and set you up for success. There is one misconception though. I can only do so much. You as the client have to be willing to make the necessary changes and incorporate the recommended things, make those things part of who you are. If no changes are made, the effects of the sessions are short-lived. It is important to note that all the heavy energy stored within us, if left untreated, will eventually manifest in some type of illness. It can be anything from migraines to chronic illness, mental illness, and even cancer. This is unfortunate, particularly with Western medicine, because symptoms are treated, not the source. I've seen it within my clients. They come to me for help in identifying the cause of their cancer, depression, unexplained illnesses, and to heal. The source is almost always linked to trauma, or the unhealthy behaviors they've established because of trauma. I was told during my healing journey that the identification of heavy energy and the source couldn't be rushed. It comes when it's meant to, in divine timing. That was a huge source of consternation for me. There were times I was so frustrated that I screamed and kicked furniture. I desperately wanted to know the blocks holding me back, so that I could release them and move forward. Fortunately, that statement is not true. I can do that for you, but the long-term changes are up to you. I also offer private virtual coaching sessions to implement the changes called out in the psychic medium reading and energy healing sessions. A customized plan is created and used during our coaching sessions where you, your spirit team, and I meet for an hour. It's really cool because your team ensures that we address the parts of the plan that you need first, and they always provide insightful messages too. You can't help but feel hopeful, empowered, and uplifted afterward. This podcast is about everyone considering or already on their healing journey. It's about learning that you're not alone, and that many things you were led to believe from your victimizer are untrue. The time has come to step out of the embarrassment of being a victim, to reclaim your power, speak your truth, and ignite the warrior within. Every week, we'll talk with people from every walk of life who have taken the spiritual healing journey. They'll share what prompted their journey and the path they took to find the magic on the other side of trauma. These conversations will be raw, real, and enlightening. You'll hear from survivors who have become thrivers, from healers who were once broken like me, and from spiritual warriors who found their power in the midst of their pain. Each guest will fill you with inspiration, and I guarantee you'll find commonalities between their stories and your own. I always keep shit real. So I'll stipulate now, the healing journey is not for the faint of heart. But it's so worth taking if you're not living your full potential. This path will challenge you, shake you to your core, and ask you to face truths you might have been avoiding. But on the other side of that challenge lies freedom, power, and purpose. When I talk about spirituality in this podcast, I want to be clear. We're not discussing religious doctrine or prescribed beliefs. Frankly, I'm not a supporter or believer in organized religion, but I am a believer in, and love God. In talking with others who have walked similar paths, the journey always involves a reconnection with God, not through the lens of organized religion, but through direct, personal experience. It's crucial to me that you know you are not alone. We'll discuss what to expect during the healing journey, what intuitive abilities look like, and systematically dispel the lies we as victims were told. This is a space of truth-telling, of myth-busting, and of reclaiming our power. Each episode will bring you stories of transformation, practical tools for healing, and insights into developing your intuitive abilities. We'll explore the intersection of trauma, spirituality, and personal power, with guests who have walked this path and emerged stronger, wiser, and more connected to their true selves. So, get your favorite beverage, find your cozy spot, and curl up ready to laugh, cry, to be inspired and enlightened by people who continue to prove the strength of the human spirit. If you like what I'm throwing down, please subscribe to Transcending Trauma, The Spiritual Odyssey, wherever you get your podcasts, comment, and pass along the podcast link to a friend, and join our community of healing and transformation. Remember, the magic on the other side of trauma is real, and it's waiting for you. Thank you for allowing me to share this vision with you. Let's embark on this journey together, supporting each other as we move from trauma to transformation, from fear to power, and from darkness to light. If you're interested in getting a head start on your healing journey, or removing a block holding you in place, you can contact me or book a psychic medium reading, an energy healing session, or both for a savings of $100 on my website. The link is in the description below. I look forward to connecting. Now, on to my first guest episode. I'm thrilled to have chatted with Susan Schmidt-Winchester, a remarkable woman whose journey embodies the very essence of this podcast. From the ashes of profound personal trauma, Susan rose to become a powerhouse in corporate America, carving out an extraordinary 36-year career in HR leadership. Remember me saying that us survivors share a lot of commonalities. Susan is a high achiever like so many of us are. Co-author of the transformational book, Healing at Work, Susan now dedicates herself to helping others break free from the unconscious patterns that lead to burnout and overwhelm in the workplace. Her mission? Guiding people toward greater self-acceptance and fulfillment in both their professional and personal lives. What makes Susan's story so compelling isn't just what she overcame. It's how she transformed her wounds into wisdom. From her childhood in Michigan to her time spent with horses, to her meteoric rise in the corporate world, Susan exemplifies what's possible when we don't just survive trauma, but use it as a catalyst for profound growth. Prepare to be inspired as Susan shares her path to healing and the magic she's discovered on the other side of trauma. This conversation isn't just about overcoming obstacles. It's about alchemizing pain into purpose and emerging stronger than ever before. Thanks for listening to this episode of Transcending Trauma, the Spiritual Odyssey. If you're working to overcome trauma and would like to work with me or be a guest on my show, contact me through my website at shariroberts.org. Please hit the follow button to make sure you don't miss any episodes. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn at Shari Roberts. You can find all the links in the show notes. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Shari Roberts, your host, reminding you that you're never alone. Until next time, sending you love and light. Before you go, are you writing a book? My friend Randy gets people book deals with publishers. She's great. You can reach her at author1stop.com.